Hello, and welcome to this Friday Coppice Dev stream. I hope you are all doing well on this Good Friday, which is technically a holiday here in the UK. But I'm still getting some work done anyway because, well, I want to get caught up on missing Dev stream last Friday, and I'm just eager to get some more stuff done on Coppice. So, what we're going to be going through today is continuing the road to release. A few streams ago, we got Coppice feature complete for version 2022.1, and we're now going through fixing bugs, doing performance optimization. We made quite a lot of progress on Monday, and today we're going to continue with that. So, if we switch over, what we're going to be working on today is finishing up some stuff in the image inspector. We started working on that UI, and then there's a few other bugs and things in the inspectors that we're going to look at, and then we're going to look at the page opening logic. Now, I have actually had a bit of a thought on the page opening logic, and I'm going to have a look through and see if we can treat it as a bug fix rather than a rewrite. Because what I probably want to do for the next version when we're working on canvases is actually look at it there, make it a lot more reliable there, and maybe even rethink the whole thing. Because I was having thoughts of, do I want different algorithms? Do I want the user to be able to choose those algorithms? Do I want the ability for the user to say, lay this out for me? Do I want it where if the user doesn't move a page, they open the page but don't move it, that I'm allowed to shift those pages around as things open up, but the minute the user moves a page, I don't shift it anymore. So there's lots of stuff there that means that this is far more than a bug fix and refinement thing. So what we may do is have a look and try and diagnose exactly what is wrong and see if we can fix it. It may be that actually the solution we go for is not to rewrite the algorithm, but just make it so that we move the scroll view. So that when a page opens, if it opens off screen, we scroll to it. And that might make things better. So we'll look into that at the end of the stream if we get time to it. It's going to be a 4-hour stream today because I'm starting an hour early. But yeah, I think the whole layout thing, I started writing the test and I realized maybe this all needs a rethink, and it's all canvas related, and the next version is going to be all about canvas improvements. So we'll get started on this. So how is everyone in chat today? How is your Friday going? Have you got any plans for the weekend? And as always, if you have any questions for me about what we're working on, Mac development or anything in particular, then just let me know and I will answer them. So, let's get into development. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of this whole link page layout manager test, as we do not need that. And let's have a look at where we got to with our updating of the image inspector. That. This is document I want. So we go in here and start editing. We have edit mode, we have rotate. One thing I think I'm going to do is visually center these controls. And then we got our crop icon done, but I don't think we actually wrote it in. And we need to get our rotate icons done. So I'll visually center these, and then we'll get on to updating those icons. So, wait. There are better ways of doing this, but given how set up, that's a simpler way, because as I've said before, at some point we are going to redo all of these inspectors, probably make this just a fixed width thing so that we can actually be a lot more particular with the size of things. Because if you look at something like Pages or Keynote, Apple has a very fixed width inspector, which they are very particular with how things are laid out. So having just this little bit of size difference doesn't really make much sense. So I think that looks better. So let's get on to doing some icons. Hey Sinister, how are you doing today? Got an update. Let's get that. Ooh. Yeah, let's cancel that and do that later. I am good, thank you. Good to hear that you're well as well. Having quite a enjoyable Friday so far. Got a bit of tidying up done. Not as much as I wanted because I had to go running around various places this morning unexpectedly. But I am doing quite well and ready to spend the rest of the afternoon getting a lot of coding done. Hopefully powering through our bug list. So, V mode. Okay, let's in here. Can we that point? Okay, that needs. Huh? This one. Point well. That. Can we get away with 1.95? Is that going to? Oh, actually, is that? Oh, that may have corrected it. Oh no, it hasn't. That one. Oop, don't want to go that far. Okay, that looks good enough. Oh, you have to do it that way. That, okay, so I think we got crop done. So what we want to do now, probably rotate. Maybe create layer, stick this in. That. Okay, let's change it to better, just so that we get a better sense. So we want a rounded rectangle at 11 point. That looks alright. And fill with black. We probably want to put that down to, let's see, this. Opacity bit. Right. Corner. That is going to be go, and that's going to be 40. And then one arrow. Make 5. Go for the stroke. Want to have make oh, it's so those are right. So we want that. On those corners a bit rounded. If we do, if we leave it like that. There. And then all we want is a line. Goes like that. Then, where is our call? Also, this corner tool, since I've discovered it, is one of my favourite things of Affinity. Such a nice little tool. Make it point. It. Okay, so that looks good so far, but now we actually start adjusting. What we want is do that 5. Those also be point. I think that it. I think having it bit makes sense. So those make the height 32. And we're just going to get rid of these points. What we want is that needs to go up to being point. There we go. Oh, and we could probably do with on it. Radius. Convert to view mode, pixels better now. They look fairly good. Convert over here to so these are going to look better when they're brought into Photoshop, but you can already see this is looking already looking crisper than what we had before. So let's try bringing these in Photoshop. So what we want is a 32 by 32 pixel. And we're going to Affinity. Copy this. Paste. Let's tweak. There. Add so much. Not sure why it is bringing so much stuff in. Oh well. So here. But it not. Oh, because there is that behind. Get rid of that. Okay. Still need to Voting correctly. That across. Happened. I copy that because that is 11 points. So I paste that in. Okay, so doing that works. If it's just because it's a group that it is breaking. So let's ungroup and if I was to put this function only, so that looks correct. Right. So if I copy those, go to Photoshop and paste, that's still causing issues there. So copy these. Okay, if I copy just that, probably would look right. So it's the curve that's doing. Okay, so it is the curve. So why do the icons have to be pixelated? This is a small thing, really, but it's a small thing I care about a lot. So Apple has all these icons, but the problem is when you're not on a Retina display, you get stuff like this, where the icons are not correctly lined up, and you get all sorts of blurriness and so on. So you can see here we have all this blurriness because they're not on pixel boundaries, and it's just a little thing, but it's something where it's something that I care about. I mean, I can potentially show you the difference. But if I open, oh, I have SF symbols open. So I will show you the difference because this is, when we go in, this is a folder in Coppice. Now notice how everything is nicely on pixels, because I have recreated this. Now I could have just done this folder icon, because that's what it's based off. But if I take a screenshot of that, and bring it in and zoom it up. This is from the sidebar of SF Symbols. Everything just looks blurry. If you're on the Retina display, can't pick it up as much. Like, you can see that it's blurry. If I bring Coppice across and stick them next to one another, you can see that the Coppice one is crisper because it is on pixel boundaries, but you can't see it as much because it has... it's much more pixel dense, so you can't see the individual pixels. But when you're on the non-retina display, and a lot of people still are, especially if they're on the desktop or something. I mean, there are people who have high-end machines and they're using non-retina displays. You end up with it looking blurry. I mean, I can go through and show... if I show some more stuff, you can see how these are simply... like the A looks fine because it's mostly curves. This looks fine because it's mostly curves. The heart you can sort of get away with, but I mean, like this, you've got a square. Why is it not on the pixels? Why is your arrow not on the pixel lines? Why is this straight line here not on pixel lines? Why do you have what is effectively 4 squares and it looks so blurry? And the reason is SF Symbols is designed as a typeface. It is a font. You can type it in. If you use the SF Pro font, you can type all these symbols in as text. But by being a typeface, it means that they are not pixel aligned. It means that they can infinitely scale their vectors, but when you're dealing with icons that are going to be at fixed sizes, and they are small, and they are on certain screens, you want to get them to be pixel perfect, because it makes a huge difference. Like, at bigger sizes, if I have, because I think in Coppice I have... where are we? Go to... Coppice. So, the new Open and Take Tour, those are all SF Symbols, but they are basically used as is, because they're big enough that you can't see that. But when you get to the point where these lines are 1 pixel wide, then it does make a difference. So it's just one of those things where it makes a big difference. And like I say, when you get to Retina, because I've got a 4K display that is running scaled up to 2560 by 1440, and that introduces some blurriness. Some of the software in the monitor corrects some of that, but you're not going to get as fine a line. But it's that pixel dense that you don't really notice it as much. But on a non-retina display, it just looks like someone's rubbed Vaseline all over the screen. It is that blurry. So it's just one of those things. Good morning or good afternoon here to you, Rio. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well on this Good Friday. Hope you've got a lot to look forward to today and over the weekend. Okay, so let's get rid of all of the... So I think what we need to do... just curve. So I should be able to, in theory, if I copy paste that to Photoshop. No, we're going to have to do these components separately. Oh, well. Let's just hide this then. It's going to be rotate. Let's show crop. Not mean to do that. So let's copy paste this. Actually, no, we should just be able to export those in theory. Export. Selection area. What if that's there? No. Okay. I will copy that and let's see if we can paste it into. Right. What we're going to have to do is, because sometimes you need to tweak these a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to rasterize this. And we're going to that, and then we'll fill this in, get a nice solid black. Okay. And then what we want to do is get all the individual components of this in Photoshop. Put so much stuff around it. Oh, I wonder. Because of that. Because it's got an invisible stroke. There we go. Okay. Is that playing into why this is exporting correctly? It probably doesn't. I wonder, what if I put that in, made it 32 by 32, right, set it neatly on there, and the alpha was set to that. I hid that, and I exported the selection area. Aha! Right, so can we export but ignore the background? Have that. But what if we just did selection only? Is that going? Yeah, that's going to mess it up again. So what we need, really, the ability to export selection area without background. Let's see if that is even possible. Designer, export area with transparent background. Okay. Okay. If I group that. I Okay, so if I export action only, there we go. That's looking more like it. And there is another tweak I want. This here. Oh. 16.2x. So we want to export that and that. Export. Selection only. Much crisper. We'll export this. And we want gaps, Coppice, artwork. Rotate left. What we want is flip horizontal. Flip horizontal. And we'll export again for rotate right. Export. Selection only. Right, right. Then what we're going to do is duplicate that. Make it 16 points. Shift it nicely. Lines up, so that needs to be 318. I'm going to go 35. Okay, and then go that, and export. Selection only. Okay, so that is And we'll select those, file, export. Only, there we go, 16 by 16. So this is rotate left. Horizontal, and we're going to have rotate right. And I wonder, can we drop, select that, and export. Drop. And drop at 2x. Selection only. I said 2, that looks good. Okay, so now that I've got that figured out, that should be faster in future. So we can save those and we should be able to quit Affinity Designer. We don't need this in Photoshop. We can do that. And let's bring Xcode there. This up. And we want our assets again. Go to Gaps, Coppice, Designs, Icon, add in Drop. I want to add in our rotates. So once we've got our assets in, we then want to make sure that they are rendered as template images. And then we can go to Image Editor Inspector. What we should be able to do now is image page small. This is going to be drop capital. I'm going to have rotate left. Have rotate right. Exactly. Size is page small. 16 by 15, so they should be being rendered correctly. I wonder if that's just an interface build thing. it. Hold them. F. Okay, I think we may need to tweak the rotate ones a bit. So they look fine, because if I open preview and zoom in, they look pretty good, because I mean this is what we were working with before. So you can see what a big difference it makes, because I mean you can actually see the point of the arrow in here even zoomed in, whereas there's just sort of a mushy mess in there. But what I think we're going to do is go in and shrink this down to a 10 by 10 and leave a transparent bit at the bottom and at the side, because they look just a little too big. Or maybe we make it 10 by 10, bring it in from the arrow. Too bad there, but I think the box is a bit too big. So yeah, let's shrink that box down and see what that looks like. The crop looks fine. I'm pretty happy with the crop, but I think we want to rotate. Though, how wide? About 32. Whereas these about the same width. I think the other thing is there is translucent line is on the side of the arrow. So I think what I want to do is have the translucent side on the side of the box, because you want to shift it towards the arrow because the visual center is slightly out there. These are centered, but they're not visually centered. And if you had the white space on the side of the box, it basically shoves everything over to the other side, which should visually center it a bit more. So if we open Affinity again, a bit premature in closing it. Later, close that. So, rotate. First thing here is shift X to there. And then we're going to size that. That's 11. That should be 22. Okay, so view. So I'll export this. We'll just do the rotate right for now, just to see what it looks like. See, this is the key thing about being an indie developer. You need to be good, at least semi-decent, at so many different things. And you also need to know where your limitations are to know where you need to go and get help from others. So I am fairly good at UI, layout, design, stuff like that. I'm building simple icons like your line icons. Anything that requires a lot more detail and texture is when I usually go and get an icon designer, because they can do it way better and way faster than I can. So for example, app icons, I almost always go to a designer because they're just so much better than I can ever be at it. But then I'll do my own web design, I'll do my own UI design and so on. And it's fun, it gives you variety. You're not just doing code all the time. Right, so if I bring up rotate right, up. Change that. That shifts along a bit, and this should get a bit smaller. So it should be a proper doubling. We build and run again. I'm noticing that Twitch is showing far fewer viewers, and I wonder if that is them getting around the bots, because normally like the total number of viewers is fairly accurate, but when it tells you who is viewing, it isn't particularly accurate. It seems to show lots of people who aren't viewing, and I believe it's bots that come in and like they cycle through lots of streams, so their name shows up in the viewers even though they're not actually watching. Anyway, let's have a look. Okay, that looks much better. It's very subtle. I'll zoom in a bit. But you can see how this icon is slightly bigger. And you can see how when I zoom out again, this feels like it's better centered in here than this does. This feels like it's too far to the left. And it's just literally shifting things over a pixel. And reducing sizes by pixels. This is the thing. When you get to this size, individual pixels can make a huge difference. It's why when people do pixel art for games, that is such a high craft because every pixel matters there, even more than doing icons like this, because we have such a limited space to work with. Like trying to make a, you would think, oh, a 16 by 16 grid, that's what, 16 by 16 is 256 pixels. You may think, oh, it should be easy, you've only got to deal with 256 pixels. But the problem is, you got to convey so much information in 256 pixels. And if you're just doing a basic icon like this, that's easy. If you're trying to draw a person or a plant or something like that in that sort of size, that is such a hard thing to do, and it's like probably one of the art forms I respect the most. And what is even more amazing is when you're not just doing pixel art, you're doing pixel art animation for walk cycles and stuff like that. It is truly a amazing art form. And when you get to the pixel art that was done originally for things like running on CRTs, so you don't get like the crisp pixels, but they actually utilized the CRTs and used different colors and stuff so that it looked much higher resolution than it is by doing all these tricks. It's truly amazing. Yeah, sprite sheets are fantastic. When I was younger, I did a lot of making games. This was when I was like 12, 13 or so on. And it's actually where the CLC in my screen name comes from. Because I ran a website called Coldstone Resource Center because I was using something called Coldstone as a game engine. And I would make all sorts of like silly games. I mean, I wonder if I have... I do. Right. Right, so I have a lot of stuff here where that open those are all have I have all stuff for walls, logos, your hit points and stuff. But these are all pretty not amazing. This is just like what a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old could pull off. If I have somewhere a aha. Oh, no. Oh. Oh. What all these do? So that is a sort of thing that I did in 3D and then rendered out using a cartoon shader. But the thing is, that's the best I could do, like utilizing 3D tools and the cartoon shader to make these little things. But there was someone who I knew around the same age, and they were doing pixel art, and they were doing like incredible pixel art, like stuff that you would expect to find in like a JRPG or something like that. That they were doing around the same time, and it was like fascinating watching them do this. Now the thing is, they were far better at the art than they were at the game side of things. So their games just looked incredible. But I was like focused more on the actual game sort of side of things. Right, so we want to flip the horizontal export. Right, left 2x. We didn't really work together. They worked on their own games. I worked on my games. I worked with other people and so on. I mean, part of the problem is the Cold Stone game engine died when Apple transitioned to Intel Macs. Like, it was never ported over or anything like that, so things sort of died off and people went their own ways. Sadly. I mean, I keep having like hopes of recreating it at some point. 'Cause it was a pretty fantastic thing. I think I've got the manual for it. Okay, what we want, I want. Yeah, so it was a manual that basically you could create your game and add all your maps, your NPCs and stuff. I mean, it was a game engine that was used to build an RPG, but they also released game engine and sold it, and you could actually create all your editors and stuff like that. But it got rather cool. Like, you'd create your editors with all your grids and put various bits on. You could have NPCs go on, all your tile sets and everything, and different layers. But it was when it got to, right, you could have point and click parts of it, but then you got to stuff like events, when you could have like an engine call, items things are going to the map, or having music player, having player things play. You could have map cells change, you could change globals, and there was no real programming per se. You were doing all this visually, showing up dialogues and so on. And even though it was sort of built for an RPG, people used it to make shooters, adventure game, point and click adventures, all sorts in it. It was such a great little tool, so flexible. So yeah, we had various properties and stuff. So yeah, it was a fun thing to play in. Right. Nope, I want to copy it over that one. I want to copy it over, rotate left. Build and run. Banging my mic. That looks better. Okay. So I think that is good enough. Okay, so we can cross off Image Inspector UI. Next we want to sort out what is happening here with the Link Inspector. Okay, so let's just commit what we have. So the link, are we? Back to animations. So the question is, why? Copy. Open to mouse. That works, is it? That one. That one does. Okay, so this is more than Link Inspector. The Image Inspector is the only one that did it correctly. Okay. So, I had that. That views from. So the question is, why? When it adds it in, content container. Width. Am I telling you all programs are built in 3D? Yes and no. I mean, these days, pretty much all of the compositing and rasterization is done on the GPU. So these are sort of rendered onto 3D layers. And some of the effects and stuff are done on the GPU. But the UI, like in the actual debugger, that is sort of just a way of viewing your UI. They're basically rendering each bit out and then sticking it onto some 3D planes so that you can actually look through and see how all the different things come together. There we go, that seems to have fixed it. Okay, so that's that fixed. But yeah, if I go into the view debugger, this is just a way of seeing the UI. So it is all laid out like this here, where you have views containing subviews and so on all the way down. It's all rendered, but all this does is it helps you split stuff out. So don't actually see all of these fully rendering, because a lot of these are transparent, and then that's a view controller, so that isn't actually something that renders. Instead, it's the view, which just lets you see like the structure of things. So you can basically like go through and take the back elements off, take the front elements off. So this is just all each individual view is being rendered onto like a rectangle, which they're then stacked up, and you can actually like expand them. I'll take it all the way down so it's flat again. You can do things such as show any hidden views. So yeah, you can see down here, if I zoom out, we've got the rest of the canvas down there, but that's not visible. We can show constraints, so I can if I out, you can click on that and see all the constraints acting on stuff. You can see whether you want to see wireframes and contents or not. I can't remember what this one. Oh, change the background color. Let's just orient it back to 2D. So it's just a useful tool for debugging things, and then you can bring up the inspector over here, and I can see all the constraints and everything on there. Or I can go and look through the properties. I can see where there are like warnings and stuff coming up over here. I can see the address, so I can then copy that and do PO with that memory address. I've got access to the stuff in the debugger to do it, so it's just useful for when something doesn't look like it's going right. It's like a view should be here but it's not, or a view is incorrectly sized. You can use the view debugger, go through and see what is the current state, and is this actually in there and hidden, or am I missing some constraints, so on. So I can't remember when they added it, but it's a very useful tool. But we have our animations working correctly. So go hide. Oh. So we can check that off. Next thing. The toggle inspectors bug. So this is where you click on that, and it uses focus. So what we want here is choose the Apple debug stuff and bring up responder chain. So our responder chain, going from a toolbar button up to Coppice Document Window Controller. Okay, so the document window controller to forward to the document. Supplemental target for action. Let target of dot content follow dot target for sender. That fixes it. No. Okay, so toggle inspector. Not that, we want if split view controller dot respond to action and returns split view controller. There we go. That's that one fixed. It's great when bugs are just like a 2-line fix. Because it isn't quite as satisfying when you spend all day working on something that ends up being like a 2-line fix. Well, I'll take it. Coppice 391. Toggle fix. Vector. Alright. Right, so looking at the time, roughly getting through almost halfway through, so I'm going to take a quick break to get another cup of tea, and then when we get back, we'll start looking into the page opening logic and see what we can play around with. I'm going to add a few more bits to here because we also want to look into pasting in image and Toolbar button. So we'll look into those as well when I get back. So I will see you all in a few minutes. Okay, I am back. Let's get back into this and have a look at that page opening logic. So, if we build and run Coppice again, right. Oh no. Oh, let's create a new canvas. Drag out, copy. So I've opened the page, open the page, and that is opening off screen. So yeah, I think all we'll do for this version is we'll make it so that if a page, you open a link and it's off screen, we will scroll that page being visible. So how would we go about that? Actually, open open link. On link, page link. Okay, so we scroll to page view controller. And we want Self.scrollview.scroll. Multivideo. Dot frame. Okay, open that, that's fine. If we open that, go to there. That works much better. For a simple fix, that up there. Yeah, that is much better. Can we edit that? Okay. Work. But we'll stick with that for now. That is enough, and then we can revisit everything in the next version, have a proper think about exactly how we want layout to work. So, let's commit to that. Hit 4. Open. Alright, pasting into image editors. Let's have a look at that. Now the rate we're going at could actually get the app effectively finished today. If we're going for another 2 hours, assuming none of these bugs take a long while. Probably going to have to look at switching from Jira at some point. But if we have a look, we've got a text expander bug, large images, these two bugs that we're looking onto now. Maybe we won't get it done today because we do have to do a full accessibility audit. Because I already know there are some things that we need to make accessible. But get these done, because these two bugs are on our list to do now. This right clicking on the bottom of the sidebar should create the bottom of the sidebar. Not sure if we really want to bother with that. That's something I thought of, but it's like something that I actually need to have that in there. We'll look at the text expander thing, but yeah. Awesome. Yeah, so if we get these bugs fixed, possibly look into the text expander issue. And click on selected search tool. We can get all those done. We may, if we get all those done in the next hour and 90 minutes, we should hopefully have enough time to do an accessibility audit, which will be rather interesting. Sorry I keep going quiet, by the way. I keep having to mute to cough because it seems the pollen is in full force today, so my hay fever is acting up. An annoying bit of hay fever where you've got ever so slightly runny nose and constant need to clear your throat. Right. So, have an image view, and we can't click on this, and we should be able to. And there's an image here. Can click on it, unless it's there. Okay, so if I click on the image that isn't on a hotspot, that should, I think, should be able to click there. I should be able to click there. So, image editor. Let's have a look-see. Okay, so what's the actual layout here? The hotspot view, then image view. Okay, so it's the hotspot view that is the issue. So, it's a hotspot. Probably want to have happen this to return a boolean, and that can return false. This can return true, and what we can do card attention, attention down is that, else got mouse down with bent. Yeah, we want both there. Not having that at the end, but okay. Maybe. Guess I don't want. Maybe is. Or maybe we do. Maybe. No. Do this higher up. What we do. I suppose. Happen. And here. See. Get mouse down center there. Don't get. What? Actually, oh, it's get mouse down center. No, we don't. Hey. course. All right. Hotspot view. Go to there. What we want on hotspot view is hotspot point. Then true for now. What this is going to do here, outlet, hotspot view, else return. What we're going to do is turn hotspot view dot change hotspots at point, and if that's true, we're going to return hotspot view, or we're going to return image view. So all we need to do now is get our hotspot view showing things, like returning direct thing from here. And what we want to do there is layout engine. Turn self.layout engine dot hotspot at point. Okay. Override now. And run. Okay, so we can now click on here. And if we go here, that selects. Go here, if we click on there, okay. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Almost sounds like someone's connecting to a 56k modem outside my house. Right. So, we're not able to click on there. Why are we not able to click on there? Do we have to convert the point to self.com? Superview system. So that point in hotspot equals what do we want? Probably the hotspot view dot convert point from superview. Maybe what we want. See. Right, so we will go and if this works, go with there, point is there, and self dot at engine hotspot at point is a hotspot. Okay. That works, but if we click outside, we can select the image. Sweet. Okay. We're good. Right. So our image editor stuff, in fact, let's just make sure I take that, click, paste. That works fine. And of course it finds all of the pages because I've taken screenshots of all the page titles. Well, at least we know that the auto linking is working as expected. Right, let's commit these changes. Discard those ones. Add those ones. build. Direct image editor. Advanced image view if not on hotspot. Work. Right. So the link toolbar button is removing the wrong thing. So if I go to the toolbar delegate, defaults, the M3 link needs upgrade. So defaults read com.apple no, not apple com.mq.sw.coppice M3 need link does not exist. Okay, so it should be inserting. Inserting the link thing up here. Interesting. Now, why is that not showing? Because com.mq copy. And the don't think there's anything else in the toolbar. So I build and run again. Nope, still not showing. Oh, is it because I don't have it? Because needs link upgrade and through. Register. Yeah. It is false. I set that to. Version migrator. Aha. And then it will move it. Okay, so defaults. Right. Upgrade. Cool. Right. Now. This should split, and it does. And the problem here is, when you click on that, this is where you used to be able to create links. Introduce a new link inspector. Links now managed in the link inspector. To create a link, select some text in the page, click on the link control and start typing. The problem is, it deletes the wrong thing. So, what we want to do. For delegate, a link. Oh, first index of link item. Okay. Is visible items not sorted correctly? The item. There we go. That works correctly. Okay. So, that's yet another thing fixed. Are we? Coppice 2. Quickly remove itself. Up. That. And I really am going to have to check out something other than Jira, because I'm currently having to quit the Jira app and reopen it in order to actually update things. Okay, so the text expander. Expander doesn't work with text pages on canvas. So I believe... Expander. I do not. Download. Okay, let me just bring the Be Right Back screen up because I need to open my email. Check that I get email from Text Expander, verify email address. Right, let's Text Expander. See, I've known about Text Expander for a very, very long time, but I've never actually used it. Right, Text Expander. Open. Right, let's see if this works. If I type ZNet, that ends in. So, what I want to do is go into Coppice, see if this works. Drag all there, and yeah, and I type Z name. Okay, so that works. Drag going to canvas. Oh, that works. Yeah, text expander seems to work for me. Okay, I guess I can contact that user and let them know. Right, I'll do that now. Port 2. Fact, before I send an email off, let's just open the release version of Coppice and works. Oh. Oh, don't have it open. Yeah, it works. Yeah, that seems to work. Let's make this one work okay with Coppice. Right. That's off. With that, okay. Well, that is that sorted. So So, what are we down to now? Clicking on selected search result should re-highlight our matches. If I search for text, and I click this multiple, switch back to here. If I click this multiple times here in the sidebar, it should do the highlight again. So, how do I want to go about that? Right, let's tidy some up. Matches, and we also want ability audit, because that is going to be a lot of fun, because we haven't done any accessibility on any of the image stuff, so that is probably going to take a while to get working. So that should definitely be an interesting thing, because there's going to be some custom stuff in there. Make sure that we get the accessibility of this working. Right, so get it so that when you click on it, on the search results, right. Maybe action. Okay, so the question is, how do we get search results view controller, which is there, for the editors, which are there? Because at the moment, in the view model, we set the selected results, which updates the selection. Editor. I think what we might do, just do a notification. That is going to be by far the simplest thing. So extension s notification. No, we don't want ns. We want just notification.name static let search result where clicked notification. And we'll application center default host visual object so. Hey Jen, my hay fever is definitely acting up. How is your hay fever doing today? I've got an annoying, I won't say a tickly cough, it's sort of a constant needing to clear my throat and a slightly runny nose. Thankfully, I don't really have too much of the watery eyes, but I did remember to take an antihistamine. So, but yeah, free sex makes me sneeze and makes my nose run. I'm usually fine in the summer when it just gets to the grass pollen, but tree pollen is just bad for me. Oh joy. Nose is running and you can't take antihistamines. There's something that I've been looking for that I've actually used for when the antihistamines aren't enough. It's meant to be this spray that you sort of spray up your nose and it's almost like a gum sort of thing that sort of coats the nose, but it's meant to help like capture the pollen and prevent the pollen from getting to your nose and causing the allergic reaction. But I haven't been able to find it for a while and it's mine's run out or expired or whatever, so that's something that you could possibly try. Right, so Highlight if subscribers. Case search results per click. Here is on will appear. Subscribers. Search results were clicked equal notifications. Default publisher for search results were clicked. Self in self dot highlight necessary. Let's see if that works. Search results clicked notification. Okay, I search for text. Okay, why? Oh, because it detects page. Oh, wait, no. That should be detecting that. Search purposes. Why on earth is that not showing up? Oh no, it is now. There we go. That works. So we just need to get it working on text pages, which should be fairly simple because text editor controller. Yeah. Highlight. Outlet self else then self dot highlight self dot view model highlight range. Did appear. Clear that out. Same in here. See how this goes. So if I search text, that keeps going. And if I hey. There we go. Those are highlighting. So I can commit that. Coppice 395. Search results. That is... That can be marked as finished. So, what we have left is this one at the bottom that I'm probably going to reject. Don't want to have to deal with that one. So, looking into large images and accessibility. And I've got updating a bunch of stuff. What I might do, because I'm still planning on streaming tomorrow, what I might do is call the stream early. I say early, we've been going for the 3 hours we were expecting, but I'm feeling tired, my brain is going, and it's a Friday, so I think we'll call the stream, and then what we can do tomorrow on the stream is focus on accessibility and focus on looking through the app, getting the accessibility. I work out exactly what we need to, because I know we need to do the link controls, but we'll get that done and get some other stuff done. I may start early again tomorrow, I'm not sure, but I may start around 1 PM UK time again tomorrow. Because if we can get the accessibility stuff done, and this image pages, then effectively we're sort of ready for release. It's just the usual release cycle stuff of updating all of the documentation, the help stuff, and that sort of thing. So yeah, we're looking good for a release at the end of this month, start of next month, if all goes according to plan. So what I think we'll do, is there anyone online? Raid. Software game development. Have a quick look. See if we have anyone who is doing some Mac and iOS dev. Seems we do. G-Hut is streaming. So we will go and raid G-Hut. You're a fellow iOS developer. So, start raid. What are they currently working on? Open focus tracker. So a bunch of Swift UI and stuff like that. So I want to thank you all for coming today. We managed to get an awful lot done over the past 2 streams. It's felt very productive, and again there'll be a stream tomorrow hopefully where we'll look into accessibility. But until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday, a great weekend, and as always, happy coding.